Hi, I'm going to talk a little bit about Chinese language learning. So what I do for Chinese language learning, I'm at about HSK 4 and I'm working on HSK 5, is that I've used Duolingo in the past, but what I found is that it just really wasn't very helpful. I didn't learn phrases that really taught me the actual language. And it also didn't include a lot of grammar lessons, and it was also very repetitive, and it didn't have a lot of good storylines. So, but there's an app that is actually really good for all of these things, and it's called Super Chinese. And Super Chinese is a really good app because it incorporates all of the ways that we actually do learn. And it's made specifically for Chinese. It's made specifically for Mandarin, of course. And it is actually created in China. So that actually works very well as it incorporates a lot of the way that we actually learn. So you go through it in a very structured way in the HSK level. So you're bumping up HSK 1 to HSK 2. So you're actually following the tests. And it actually does, you have these test outs to tell you how well you're doing. And then I would take notes. I do take notes. I write, if there's a new Chinese letter, I write that out. Chinese letter, Chinese character. And, so I make sure that I'm remembering these things. I treat it like a classroom, but also they have a lot of scenarios. They have a lot of scenarios where you're actually talking back and forth. One person says something and then you say something in return. They say something, you say something in return. And that comes after the lesson. So the lesson kind of progresses as in they have a dialogue. I mean, it's very revolutionary. It's a really good app. First, they have a dialogue. This introduces the lesson, whatever the topic is on the dialogue, and then they go through all of the new words that you learned, and then they review those new words a few times, and then and then you have to create some sentences with the new words, and then you have a little bit of a dialogue with somebody about the new words. And so they're going HSK 1, 2, 3, but they're going a topic by topic, and they're going through all of the lessons, and you're learning it that way. It's very structured. In addition to Super Chinese, I have a Word document where I have listed all of the HSK words in there. And I just go through that every day, and I mark where I stopped. So if I start on page 1 and I'm going through those letters, and once I learn those letters, then I just mark at the top that now I'm on page 2. And then when I start the next day and I open up the document, I can see at the top where I wrote I'm on page 2. So then I go to page 2 and I review those, and I go over it and over it again until I know those characters, right? And when I stop, whatever page I stop at that I now know those characters, I write it at the top of the document. So like right now I'm in a Word document, and the document, I don't know how many pages long it is, but I'm on page, I think it was this morning, 92. So I'm on page 92, and then I go through, and I've got spaces between all of each letter or each character has its own space. So 92 sounds like a lot more than it is because there's a lot of space in between. There's a lot of blank space on there between characters that are all separated out. But then when I open it up, and then when I open it up, and there at the top I've written page 92, so that the next time I review it, I don't review things I already know. I go back to down to page 92. And when I reach the end of the document, I start again on page 1. Okay? And then I just mark it right at the top. I write in what page I'm on. So I can start again on page 1. This gives a type of spaced repetition, and it also makes sure that you know what you have learned before you move on. And of course, whenever you're learning something new, you're adding it to the end of the document. Does that make sense? So that you make sure that all the new stuff you learn is on the document. But for me, I'm going and I've got all the HSKs in my document, and I've got my Super Chinese in a separate pile. Okay, because I don't know. I guess that's the way I did it. Super Chinese is a little bit separate because I want to make sure that I'm focusing on those words that I'm currently learning in the lesson for the HSK 5 level. But Super Chinese, I did pay for the subscription. It's not too bad for a year-long subscription. And if you do it every day, you can really progress. And I hope this is helpful. All right, thanks.